Hi, friends. Are you ready for one of my long, boring, rambling stories? Well, anyway, I used to have this really nice leather belt that I loved, and over time it just kind of like cracked and it eventually broke, and I was kind of sad. But then I thought about how every time I went through a metal detector, I had to take it off because it had a metal buckle and it was heavy. And I was just like, what am I doing with my life? So I was in the hardware store and I found these really cool straps. They're just like versatile straps called Stayhold, and they have this really cool buckle that I absolutely love. It's nylon, and it's very strong and versatile and easy to open and close with one hand and super lightweight. So I decided to 3D print my own version, which I did. Uh, all credit should go to the original creator of the Stayhold buckle because I pretty much copied it almost exactly, but I made a few little changes. Um, Basically, like this original buckle, it's solid through here. It doesn't open on this end, so it has to, the belt has to be sewn on. So my innovation was I adapted this one way enforced locking mechanism for overcoming that difficulty. So basically, the way this works is in the direction that the force is applied to the belt or the buckle, it stays locked. But then if you push it from the other direction, it opens so that you can slide a strap on there. It's kind of hard to see the topology, but let me see if I can zoom in on that actually. There's a little like angle in there. Anyway, I'm like intensely proud of this because it's like, in my opinion, I consider it micro engineering, and it really prints well and reliably and works well and reliably. And then, of course, I added this little notch here just to make it easier to flex those two apart while still maintaining the overall strength of the buckle. And then I changed uh, this. It has like this kind of curious. I don't know if they did this to save material or what, but they hollowed this out. It actually goes quite deep and it has some reinforcement ribs in there. But I didn't think this was like the most ideal solution, and the topology was pretty complex. So what I did was I just rounded it off. It's more robust that way. There's knurling in there, which the other buckle has too, which might be kind of hard to see because it's black, but that knurling in there is what helps it lock um, against the buckle. So anyway, I'm gonna put my strap on this buckle I 3D printed and tested out. I sewed this myself, so there isn't gonna be any cheating. Yeah, so definitely more of a pain than I would have liked to get it on there, but also a lot less of a pain than having to sew a belt in place on a buckle, I think. So let's try it out, shall we? I'm filming with one hand, so I had to loop it around in order to actually get it in there. So this was a really cool little thing that I noticed only when I was modeling it, and I just want to show it on the original here. There's these tiny little retainers, just like, I don't even know, like not even half a millimeter, maybe like a third of a millimeter. It sticks out of the side there, and it's just enough to create some friction against the side of the top of the buckle when it goes in there. So I replicated that in in my buckle, and because the tolerances are even better, it actually works a little better, I think. And I made them a little broader too, so they would engage more easily. Anyway, I'd say this design is a success, except for that it broke. So clearly I need to do a little reinforcement there or something. This is actually a good opportunity to show the inner surfaces and also how to put it together, because it prints flat on the print bed like this. Actually, this is facing this direction when it comes off the print bed. But basically what you have to do is there's a little chamfer on this part right here. God, that's hard to get it to focus. But that little chamfer helps you slip it into the slots, and it's a little hard. You gotta pull out on. Oh God, this is so hard with one-handed. But you gotta pull out a little bit on that to. It's actually a lot harder when it's not broken. So yeah, I'm just gonna fix this one little problem, which I don't know. There was something I wanted to talk about in this video. Jesus, it's just not focusing. Something I wanted to talk about in this video that I've been meaning to talk about, which is the really neat idiosyncratic nature of 3D printing, where like you design something, and even if it's a copy of a pre-existing design, you're basically like, will it print? And that's sort of the first pass. This, by the way, doesn't need supports to print. That's a whole nother layer and maybe a topic for another video. But you design something to print without supports, and it has to adhere to the bed too. That's also pretty crucial. It's got to print reliably. You don't even know if it's going to print. You print it out and you get the print, and then you have to ask yourself, is it going to work at this orientation? And there's three different orientations you can print in, basically. Well, there's also like diagonals too, which you can do, or atypical orientations. But the three basic orientations, flat, sideways, and on end, each of these provides unique structural advantages in terms of the layer lines. As you can see, because this was planned flat on the bed, the layer lines are going parallel. And so that's why this side piece snapped, in addition to the fact that there's a tremendous amount of leverage being applied there. I think I just need to tweak those tolerances a little. But anyway, this is just a great example of how even if you get something to print right, it isn't necessarily going to perform the way you expect because of the unique idiosyncrasies of the medium. And ideally, if I wanted to give myself the best strength for this part, I think I would print it like this, which just this top part, which I may actually be able to do. So I might try that before I make any other modifications to this. Yeah, lots of thinking go into these projects. What I usually do is, after I've created the beta version or alpha version, which this is right here, which is almost an exact copy of the original minus a few little tweaks. I just kind of play with it for quite a while. Sometimes a couple hours. Sometimes I just put it in my pocket and carry it with me all day long, and I'm just kind of like thinking about it, and I'll take it out and analyze it and be like, what do I need to tweak? And I try to like memorize the changes I want to make so that when I open my 3D modeling program, I can just kind of make those changes. Because it usually there's a lot. Like, you can just kind of deeply, intellectually go into the intricacies of the geometry and be like, I'm going to make this wall thicker. I'm going to make this shorter. I'm going to change this angle here. I'm going to put 45-degree angles here so this won't need supports when it prints. I mean, you can just go on and on and on. There's so many changes that you can make, and of course you don't want to forget them, but you don't want to memorize, you want to understand. So it's, because I want to get better and better at this process to the point where I can just look at a design and realize what it needs immediately without having to apply any sort of logic and just be more intuitive about it. That's my ultimate goal. Anyway, this video has probably gone on way too long, but I think some of you will find all of this uh, musing and so forth and interesting and informative in your own projects. So yeah, thanks for watching.